Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show. My name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of socialchefs.com. I'm going to just say a quick hello. But I want to welcome you to this week's show. We've got a great show. This is episode 156. And, I'm really excited. We've got a great guest on this week, Dorian Morin-van from Morin Media. But I want to just say a quick hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Thanks a lot for spending your evening with us. If you're watching, do us a favor, hit that share button, hit the socialchefs.com/be live. That'll get you the ability to watch the show, to comment and engage with us. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on Dorian and Nick. Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing well.
Hey.
How about you?
Doing great. So what's everyone up to these days?
Just busy, man. I'm busy with work. So Phil has really worked in other outside projects. So Phil has really stepped up and done a great job as the new co-host. And so I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back for a night and get my update of social media news.
Definitely. How are you doing, Dorian? How are you doing?
Good. I have been speaking.
Yeah.
I just came back from Inbound last week. I spoke at Inbound. I'm flying to Texas on Sunday. Then I'm flying to Maine to Agents of Change. I'm speaking there next Thursday. Then I'm flying to California in October. In the meantime, evacuated from Myrtle Beach to Georgia behind me. I'm in a 1850s log cabin, escaping the hurricane. So pretty cool stuff happening.
So
Lots of travel.
What's that 1850s log cabin like? Do you have like
Did we lose her?
I think we just lost her. Well, let's see if she joins back. Oh, here she is.
There she is.
Sorry
Hello,
about that. So I'm back. I know. So we do have Wi-Fi. There is AC, which is, of course, added later. Basically is a living room that I think probably was a one-room cabin. And on one side, it has a built-in extra room and then another room and then a third room on the back, which is now the kitchen. And it has a cool loft, which is just a bunch of planks because my son's up there and you can look up and see him and he can look down and see us. But it's super cool. It's on a little lake and there's fishing and they have goats and the dogs could come. So, I mean, we're like on a little hurrication, as we call it.
That's pretty cool. I think that'll start being a hurrication. That'll be a new phrase, I think.
Yeah, we wish we trademarked it. It's like our third one in 3 years.
Yeah, wow. Is this an Airbnb that you did just for a few days or?
Yeah, we did it for 8 days because we really don't know. We're expecting no power for at least a week, maybe longer. The South Carolina school system actually initially canceled class from Tuesday to Friday, and they put out a notice yesterday that it's canceled indefinitely. They'll let us know when we're back, which could be another week or more. We could be out for 2 or 3 weeks. The schools are used as shelters. So if there's severe flooding and people can't go, if they can't leave the shelter, they can't use the school. So we're in a holding pattern. So we've got this Airbnb for like 8 days and we'll see. We might be able to extend it.
Wow. That's, I'm glad you're able to do that. And it's, Myrtle Beach is where you're from, where you guys, evacuated from, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So right on the coast. You guys, you had no choice. You had to evacuate.
Well, I mean, our house is in the evacuation zone. There's 3 zones and we're in the middle one. But we have a lot of friends and neighbors and that stayed. Not everybody can afford to go. Not everybody wants to go. People that stayed usually either have physical businesses, elderly parents, or a lot of pets, or have no money to evacuate. And you can't bring pets to shelters. So it's either leave a dog or a cat at home unattended or don't evacuate. And those, that's that's an almost impossible choice. So
That's an impossible choice.
So there are people who are still at their homes. They have generators, supplies. It's become a pretty great community, with social media. We're using different Facebook groups. We have local Facebook groups, friends that work at stores. I got Facebook messages saying, hey, Costco is going to open tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. It has this many generators, spread the word. I mean, people who work there. It's been an incredible week of people coming together just to prepare for the hurricane, and I expect nothing less once the hurricane starts. 2 years ago, we had a small one come through, but with a lot of rain. After we'd had a lot of rain, and just in 4 hour time, we had over 20 trees just in our streets, fall. And people came out with chainsaws, and people had, gas cans to fuel the chainsaw, and people all ages came together and chopped up trees because we just couldn't wait for professionals to come. So I expect a lot of that same kind of camaraderie, and social media plays a huge role in that, being able to connect and check on your neighbors. Before I left, I made sure I knew where all of my friends were going, what they're doing, what their plan was. And, I think it's a good way to check in on even elderly and making sure people are safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good to hear. It sounds like you guys were prepared, and we'll go back when you can and help others who maybe were unable to evacuate. So that's great to hear. Well, shall we jump in, Christian?
Yeah, let's do it. And by the way, Dorian, very glad to hear you're safe. And I like the business aspect you're sharing there, that you can work from anywhere as well. Just with that Wi-Fi connection. And thanks again for being flexible to join the show, but we appreciate it.
Sure.
So Nick, where do you want to start today? We've got a lot of topics.
I just was
quite a
starting
range of topics.
I was just starting in the way that they were delivered to me with the Instagram launches their parent portal.
Sure, let's talk about this. Yeah.
So this is a story out of TechCrunch for parents who grew up with the dial-up connections in Prodigy and AOL and tape players. They are having a little bit of difficulty with the online lives of their teens and their children. So today, both the good and destructive aspects of these social interactions are taking place, oftentimes not on the stuff that's publicly posted, but rather they say it goes down in the DMs, right? So to help parents navigate these online environments, Instagram has released a parent's guide to the app on its well-being site, which I didn't know that the Instagram had a well-being site, and that's wellbeing.instagram.com/parents. The public service announcement covers a basic introduction to photo and video sharing app and introduces parents to safety features that maybe even their kids may not be aware of. These bullet points cover privacy features like private versus public profiles, a timer system the app released earlier this summer that helps teens and parents keep track of how long they're on the app, which I thought is kind of a cool little feature. And kind of gives them an encouragement to maybe take a break if you've been on it for too long. In addition, they're going to be walking parents through these more technical aspects of the app. The portal also works as basic introduction to the unique intersection of personal identity and technology that's inherent to how teens are finding their place in an increasingly noisy web. So, and there's a term here. The app also encourages parents to ask their teens about their mental well-being as a result of online comments. How well, if at all, they know their followers and how they decide what to post on various accounts. And they said Finstas versus Instas, and Finsta is a new term for me. I'm not sure what that is. So
it's a fake Instagram.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Dorian's up on this.
I have a bunch of teenagers in my house.
Gotcha.
So basically what they do, they have a public Instagram and kids don't post much on it. So that satisfies the parents' curiosity. And then they have a Finsta, which is what they share all their secret stuff with their friends, and the parents don't even know they have it. So that's the difference, an Insta and a Finsta.
Gotcha.
So,
well, that's interesting.
I will say, so if you check out the comments of this post, I dropped the link in there also, guys, to Instagram actually has a comprehensive announcement on their site as well. And, what do y'all think about this? Like, do we think that, is this a good tool, for instance? And I'm going to say this, there's a way to do this for, the personal side. And I think this is slightly useful for business as well. But let's talk about the personal side to this. Do you think that this is a good thing for Instagram to do this?
Yeah, I think it's wise to have anything that helps a parent who maybe a little less. And here I am, not even a parent, and not aware of Finsta. Of course, it's been several weeks since I've been on the show, or I might have been a little bit more up to date on the terminology. But I think anything that will help parents to understand what's going on in their kids' social media lives is good.
Okay.
I think it's a little too late.
Yes.
I think that when you get to have a teenager and you're worried about those things, you kind of, I believe, miss the parenting mark. I think the issue is not necessarily with Instagram and what they can and cannot do. It's with modern day parenting, parents who give their 6-year-old a smartphone and don't teach them how to use it, give their 9-year-old access to the internet and don't have these conversations with them. So if you do it right, and if you build that trust with your child, which is what I advocate you wait as long as you can to give them a phone. And then when you do, you get to the point where you make them responsible for things. You have them sign a little contract. You talk to your children. This is what I expect. These are the consequences. And at that point, that's when they would enter the realm of Instagram. So as a parent at that point, you should already know some of these things. Now, of course, there's new parents out there that, if you're a parent with a 6-year-old and you're reading this and you think because of this, you can put your 6-year-old on Instagram, you're delusional. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. They shouldn't be on there. So if you read this and you have a 13-year-old that is just ready to get on Instagram, but you've done all the other things, then I think that makes sense. If you've already prepared them for, the internet's basically letting you go travel the world on your own. You're not supposed to share anything bad. If you see something that's bad, you have to tell an adult. All those things you tell your kid when you send them out into the world. If you've done all those things, then they're more prepared. Instead of putting them on a bus to, Cleveland when they live in Massachusetts with, $5 in their pocket and say, go, then you haven't prepared them, which is what I think a lot of people do when they hand their child a smartphone. They're not really preparing them. So this guide is there. It's a little late. If you're reading this and you think this is going to protect your child just to have this one-time conversation, you've missed the boat. I really think it starts way earlier. I do think it's good to have out there. There might be some teachers that it would be helpful for to kind of understand what kids are doing. Maybe a grandparent that's out there that isn't really in tune that would like to know a little bit more. But as a parent, I think you should be on Instagram. You should understand what it is like, and you should be able to go alongside your child and learn the next new platform so you can talk about it. So that's kind of my take on that as a parent of teenagers.
I will 100% agree with this. And I think to me, one of the things, I think this is a little too late, but I also think that with Instagram, like, I don't think this is going to solve the bigger problem. And the bigger problem is that they don't know how to use Instagram necessarily. So now, they don't know how to use it. So they really aren't up on the terminology, but they're also not up on the platform, how it works, so then they basically need a whole crash course in that. And then, here's the other thing, like, are they even going to know that this article exists? Right. Because I'm sure there's not parents aren't going out there looking for this Instagram article. Oh, I got to check the Instagram press page because Instagram has a bunch of different places that they publish a lot of their content, and it's not necessarily where you think it is. Right. So I'm glad they're doing this, but I think that it's good.
I think this is more of their trying to placate the government who continues to investigate them. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think great, any information you can give to help parents be more informed, awesome. Dorian just gave us every reason why you should be on this stuff long before this point. But I think any tools that are made available, parents should be taking advantage of those to inform their kids and inform themselves. But really, I think this is Facebook and all the social media trying to placate government regulators.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but last year Facebook came out with this, I forget what it was called, Facebook Kids Messenger or something,
Yeah.
Facebook Kids.
Yep.
And
Messenger Kids.
I was appalled. I mean, come on, guys. Here your Facebook, you think this is going to help just to bring these new, this new generation of people in. Kids shouldn't be on Facebook Messenger. I mean, they shouldn't. They should be out playing and building things and, playing outside, playing soccer. I just think that they're missing the boat. What I'm waiting for is one social media platform to take the bull by the horns and say, we're doing an overall social media education piece. All the schools, even the schools are offering driver's ed. The schools are offering sex ed. Where is the social media ed that the schools should be helping us provide to our children and to the parents as well? Somebody needs to take it, and it's not just platform. Let's be honest. When Instagram's done, they'll be the next one. So putting out a guide for Instagram, parents to their kids about. It's only going to be much. Social media education plan that gets spread around even 4 and 5-year-olds and 8 and 10-year-olds can learn from and know when the kids are ready and to guide them through. I think that would be a very good move by one of the big giants to make, to really educate parents on, developmentally where when they're ready, they should do. And I would love to be as 13 minimum age, and we really don't want you on there. And instead, they make Facebook Messenger Kids. It's just that does.
It's tone deaf. It's tone deaf by the large social media organizations. But I think that there's only two who really maybe have the money to do. The money and the maybe manpower to do the type of thing that you're talking about, a comprehensive educational program. And I honestly think that this would be a really great spot for Google, who has failed to become a part of the social media atmosphere. Google Plus failed pretty miserably. So they could do an all around internet safety educational, a very robust kind of comprehensive and educational program with the school. Sponsor it even.
I like that.
I think because there's really two who have the money and the power to do it would be Facebook and Google, maybe Apple if they were interested. But I think that sponsoring programs like that would make really good sense. Morris in the comments says, agree, kids should be outside, but we have Kids Messenger for my 8-year-old, and it is good. My son has an iPad, and he can use the app to text and FaceTime with approved contacts.
Yeah, and I think that overall, I mean, it's going to come down to. By the way, Dorian, I love the idea of doing something within school. I think that makes a lot of sense, a whole lot of sense. It actually makes more sense than just say, hey, let's launch an online portal. I'm wondering if this is one of those things that it's like a precursor. Maybe Instagram is working on something like that because they have also been really pushing. They've really been pushing the move into like helping, for instance, businesses get better at digital, or at least on Facebook. They've really been pushing a lot of those kinds of events, local events. So I really hope that maybe they're going to do that for Instagram. They need to, I think. Because it's going to, otherwise it's not going to get around the bigger issue, which is, hey, how do I catch up on Instagram just to even get started with it? Mm-hmm. You can't just release it. It's basically saying, hey, here's an instruction manual. Now go figure out how to use the item. They need, I think, a different approach to that. Yeah. But if I'm a business, by the way, with this, here's the thing. There's not necessarily a business, like you're not going to drive dollars on this, but where it could be useful, I think, is if you're a business owner and you keep up with this and you have customers that come in, a lot of times you build a relationship with the customer. And it's not just about selling products. Sometimes, you go outside you should go outside of that and talk about like, what else is going on? Like, how's their family doing? That sort of thing.
Right.
And if you keep yourself up on Instagram, you might be able to have customers that are in there saying, hey, they're talking about like, their kid, my kid joined, Instagram, and I've had a really bad day. Well, you can, then maybe educate them as well about that parents portal. So I know that's a loose tie-in, but
yeah. I just want to respond to Morris. I read his comment, and I just want to. I don't know, Morris, if you have any older children, but I just want to caution you that even though you feel safe with Kids Messenger, there are ways kids will find a way to go around it. Just from experience, having 4 children, when you think they're safe, even, you're on Instagram, you have a protected account, or on Facebook, you have a protected account, kids can go around that. And so just make sure, especially with an 8-year-old, you monitor. We had a thing happen where we thought our kid was safe and ended up talking just to people on Xbox, which is in a way a messenger as well. And, nothing bad happened, but sometimes you're not aware of the capabilities of a program. And just because it has the word kids in it, I just want you to make sure that you keep monitoring as your child grows, as they understand more about the capabilities of the program that you might not be aware of, that they will find ways to exploit it. And as they get older, just be there. Don't rely on Facebook to keep them safe. Make sure that you are part of that safety net, and that you keep the conversation open and going at all times, especially with an 8-year-old.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to the next item. This is from Marketing Land. Facebook renames Canvas ads Instant Experience ads, and then gives them a pixel, gives them pixel capabilities. This is from, I mentioned Marketing Land. Facebook is renaming its Canvas ads, now calling mobile ad unit Instant Experience ads, and is building out pixel capabilities around the newly named ad product. They say, we are also introducing new ways for businesses to understand their customers' progression from seeing an instant experience to completing a purchase, and opening new opportunities for businesses to re-engage with those customers, writes Facebook on its business blog. The instant experience ads will now automatically be attached to Facebook Pixel, making it possible for advertisers who use the Pixel on their website to re-engage with the site visitors that interacted with the ads on Facebook. Okay, so I get the Pixel. I've never used the Canvas ads that I'm aware of. You guys, both of you use this kind of, do these ads a heck of a lot more than I am. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Christian, and you, Dorian, for the remainder of this instant experience.
Well, I mean, basically, I like the idea that they're renaming, the Canvas ads Instant Experience ads. Overall, I mean, it adds a pixel, which is going to be fantastic because you're going to be able to retarget based off of that. But I think you're also going to be able to have, and I'm going to make sure I don't get this confused. Basically, they're also going to give you a bunch of templates to help you, in this case, engage with the ad that somebody used to submit their contact info. So they're going to have like 4 templates, like a storefront ad, a lookbook ad, a customer acquisition, and a storytelling ad. So that way, here's the thing, I think, with ads, instead of running ads that are very or trying to run ads and not really knowing what you're doing on Facebook, I think the templates are going to be really useful because they're going to help create an experience. And that's one of the key things I think here. A lot of people, they just create ads without really kind of thinking through them. And you have to think through the ads you're running about what you're trying to achieve, what your goal is. So in this case, it's all about engagement. And or most of it is about engagement. So they want to make sure that they're giving you these templates to be able to do that. But Dorian, what do you think, by the way, about these? Have you had a chance?
Well, I have not used them, but I'm super interested in it because I've been doing a lot more customer service type stuff. I'm community manager, and we started using chatbots a lot.
Right.
So I'm constantly in chatbots all day long. I have conversations with people, and I can't tell you how happy they are that there's a real person there. So if you have these, I can see where you see an ad, you click on the ad, you go to the website, you get redirected or whatever, however that whole system works. That is pretty cool that you get to have that instant experience. And whether that means that it goes to a chatbot or a real person that can answer a question about that sale or the story or whatever it is that you're doing. I think what they're trying to do is more human-to-human interaction, even with ads, and because they know that that's what Facebook knows, that's what works on pages. It's the human-to-human experience. It's the customer service. It's the real engagement. So I think they're trying to mimic that in an ad. That's what it sounds like to me, and I definitely think that's the way Facebook is going with almost everything they're doing. I mean, look, they're doing groups. All the new features put in there, and they're really pushing groups. And now you can put a pixel in groups as well. I don't know if you talked about that a couple of weeks ago or if I missed that, but that's exciting too. So they're really, really pushing that engagement piece everywhere. So it doesn't surprise me. I haven't run them, but I think it's exciting opportunity.
And I dropped actually quite a few links here in the comments. Nick, if you could just check comments, see if there's anybody, if anybody's responded. But we've got quite a few things. I've got a much bigger announcement from Facebook on instant experience ads. There's actually a video here. Actually, let me see if I can play this video for you all while we're here. But I'll play this video. But then also, what I want to show you is, and by the way, here's some. These are examples. I think you can see this. These are all examples of the different types of instant experience ads that are available. As I mentioned, there's the instant storyteller, instant form, instant storefront, instant lookbook. If you're not familiar with that, instant customer acquisition, instant storytelling. By the way, one little theme I'm seeing here is the term instant. There's an instant form as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's going to be some sort of Instagram tie-in at some point with this. Even though it's a Facebook thing, but. Let's show you how some of these work. So like, for example, let's say you want to run the instant form on your Facebook page. So basically this lets people share their contact info to help them learn more about your offerings. So let me see if this will play. It's interesting. Okay, the instant form one's not playing. So we'll show you the shopping ones.
That's not instant.
Yeah. So this is the storefront ad. So as you can see, you had one ad that somebody could have clicked on. They then could browse through to individual items. And once you go through those individual items, you could then see more about it. At this point, it took you over to Instagram. That was interesting.
Maybe that's the Insta part.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll switch back. Let's see if I get this to play. There we go. Okay, so this is the instant form. So you're scrolling through your Facebook news feed. You see something from a brand you want to connect with. They get your contact information. Again, that's pulling from your Facebook contact information. So like, for example, instead of tapping to learn more and then, getting taken to a website, you're taking to the contact form, which I think is useful. But there's a whole bunch here with these. They talk more about the pixel as well to automatically add. It's automatically added to instant experiences for any advertiser that's using the Facebook pixel on their website. So that's less work you have to do. And for those of you who want to create or add a Facebook instant experience to an ad, I did drop a link in the comments as well to that as well for instructions on how you can do that.
Cool.
So I think from a business purpose, I think once you see these, I think they'll make sense. I think they'll make a lot more sense. And basically it comes down to this, whatever ads you're going to run as a business, you have to have a goal in mind and then work off of it. In this case, work off the template that they're providing.
Right.
So, anything else y'all want to add on instant experience ads?
No, right now. I think at 7:30, I think we should skip the next Facebook since we're already a half hour in. Christian, I think we should skip the next Facebook one. Encourage everybody to go to the blog for that.
Yep. And they can go to socialchefs.com/daily. Subscribe to that newsletter. We'll send you out a link to the blog recap that will include all the topics. as well as, a couple more that we're not going to talk about tonight.
Sure.
It's another Facebook ads one, but you'll get that one. So where do you want to go next? Is this the one?
I think our last item for the last story for the night is an article from Business Insider about Twitter rolling out this live audio feature, live streaming audio feature. So you don't have to go live and have your face on camera. I know a lot of people are reluctant to do that. So Twitter just rolled out this feature to its iOS app that allows audio-only live streaming, similar to Twitter's Periscope live streaming feature, but without the video streaming. And I tested this before we went live here.
Mm-hmm.
To start live streaming audio to your followers, you click on the Compose Tweet button. Okay. Then you click live, and it's a little difficult to see, but there's a light microphone, light little microphone above the red Go Live button. And you tap that so that you want to go live audio, and then you tap the Go Live button. And go ahead.
I've got it up with the Go Live option and the microphone. So that's
the microphone. And it took me a second to really see the microphone. With that background, it looked a little better than the black background that I had on my iPhone. So I tested it out. I did like a 10-second audio. It does look interesting in the tweet afterwards because it shows as an audio file, kind of. Let me see if I can show it to you.
Actually, if I can I pull up your Twitter account and see this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let's head over to Nick's Twitter account. So Nick's at twitter.com/Nick J. Richway.
Yeah.
Dorian's at Morin Media. So let's check out this audio that Nick recorded. So this is very similar to what Facebook was doing as well.
Right.
With their audio only posts. I think that overall, I think this is a great feature. I kind of wish that they had, kind of reduced the size of this in the Twitter newsfeed. It's a little big for just audio.
Is. Yeah, I think half that size would suffice.
Yeah, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I haven't listened to what you recorded here. But
it's essentially meaningless. I just said I was testing it out, so you don't have to. There's nothing really worth listening to there.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that the feature was working and see how I might use it.
Yeah, I just pulled up my phone and it's not. I don't have it, but I might have to update my Twitter my app.
Okay.
So I just pulled it up and it wasn't working. So I don't have my apps enabled update. So. Okay. I'm sure that once I do, I'll be good to go.
Yeah, probably because sometimes when we talk about things on the show, I don't have it yet, and I do have the auto update enabled. So I was surprised that I had this one already, but I am fairly active on Twitter, so I think it's something to play with. I think this is probably most beneficial for those who are a little reluctant to show their face, but may want to put out content with just audio only. Might get them, familiar with it. I could also see somebody doing a Twitter feed only audio.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think if you just had audio post after audio post, that could have some engagement. But I wouldn't say that I would necessarily recommend long-winded 10-minute audios. You'd have to have some pretty refined content to do that.
Yeah, I think overall, I think from a business perspective, one of the challenges that most businesses we hear from, it's that they don't have enough time to create content. A lot of people are spending their time just engaging, and engagement is great, but you also have to pull away from that, step away and take the time and create your own content as well to kind of establish, plant that flag and establish your presence. So I think that, having a feature like this would actually make sense for a business who can't create the content. Maybe they want to do a weekly audio, for instance, they do one audio a week. I think this could be very useful for that. I also think this is it's a bit of a ploy for Twitter to get people back to using the app. I personally don't use the Twitter app very much. I more use like Tweetbot for Twitter. But, again, good feature to have, very useful feature. And again, it's a tool. I wish you could download these, but, you could at least embed them.
I was going to just ask about that. Can you download them, Nick?
I didn't test that, Dorian. Let me see. I'm imagining I have that capability. Let's see.
You can embed it. Because what I'm thinking, I was like, why? Because I read this article ahead of time. I'm thinking news podcasts for sure. Event podcasts, storytelling, like an author, reading a little bit every day, or doing almost even like a mystery, giving a clue every day or something, and use, instead of images, make it these crazy podcasts that people just get addicted to, and put out a little bit every day, or use this to point them to the big podcast recordings that you have. I'm actually excited for it because I've been wanting to start a podcast forever, and I'm not in all the technical stuff, but if I could just literally just push a button on Twitter and record myself for 15 minutes and do a podcast and then download the darn thing, or embed it on my website, I might have a podcast before I know it. I think, especially with news, if you're somewhere and you might be at a public space where you don't want to have people in the videos, whether there's kids involved or you're at a news conference or somewhere, and you just want to really have a good feedback on what you're seeing, or like a recording of what you're seeing, but you don't want all the images. I think, especially with news and stuff, this could be a really good thing to have, and for people to get access to it without video might be good to certain situations.
I will say I like the idea of, that both of you mentioned. I like the idea of doing like an audio only Twitter stream. That actually sounds really cool to do.
It does. I like that. I like Dorian's idea about little clues or little stories each day or something like that. Sonia Figueroa mentioned in the comments that this looks a lot like Anchor did when it first came out to her. And I felt the same thing when I posted it. I did have a real Anchor feeling there. Dorian, I did check if I can download it. I'm not seeing it, at least while we're on the show, but it does. I don't see the download option yet, but you can imagine that was coming. It is with the newest update. I just updated my Twitter app, and now I have it. So it is the newest update that they did. So everybody should. I could see like FEMA and others, since Dorian has evacuated and is safe down in Georgia. I could see FEMA or your local news stations giving 30-second updates on a hurricane, things like that. And sometimes audio. Now, since this is through Periscope, I don't know this for certain, but oftentimes audio drains battery far less than video. So
I will give you a little tip here. So this is a Periscope video file. And so there are a number of downloading tools you can actually use to download your Periscopes. So I just tested it with yours, Nick, and I was able to download the audio. Okay. So you basically it's a Periscope. It looks like it's a Periscope video file, and you can actually then run it through some tools that will either download just the video with the audio, even though it's not any video here, or you can just strip the audio out of the video. Okay. So took a couple seconds there.
Oh, so nice.
It's very possible to get an MP3 and then do something with that. So very cool. This is here's the thing. We had a lot of good topics this week, but I think that this actually is one of my favorite ones because it gets you out there producing content, I think. Yeah, I like it. But of course, I'm a huge fan of Twitter. So, I'm spending a lot more time there than I am on Facebook these days. So anything that they do to update, I like. All right, Christian, I know it was longer than we expected, but how about some tools? Let's talk tools. So I've got, so it's tool time, and we're going to talk about a couple of new tools this week. One of those is, One, Nick, I think you're probably familiar with this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Zoom, and I'm bringing this up because, by the way, let me, before I go into the tools, actually, let me answer Sonia's question. She had a question. I wonder if you can repurpose for Alexa skills audio. The answer to that would be yes, you can, because you would be able to just download the audio file, and then you can do it vice versa. But you can download the audio file, put it on the server or the cloud, wherever you store your stuff, and then basically you would be able to have it in both places.
Right.
So record on, in this case, you'd record on Twitter and then download it and put it wherever your Alexa audio skills need to go. We do that for social chatter. We have an Alexa version that we do. So, so that's just answering your question real quick. So let's talk tools.
Zoom.us.
Yes, we've got good old Zoom. So,
I think it's a great tool.
So what do you like about Zoom?
I think it's a great webinar tool. I think it's a great meeting tool. Last night, Ivan and I recorded our first Legal Tech Live in 13 months. And when I convert the video and record it and convert it afterwards, I get two files. I get the audio file and I get the video file. So that's a nice feature. I found it useful for just meetings that you're not recording. You can get up to like 15 people in there if you need to. It's a webinar platform, but it's a little more robust maybe than your old go-to meeting, and it's real easy use.
I use it every week for a hangout where we have guest experts on. So it's really nice to do interview style where we share the screen, but then also we record it to the cloud, but we also live stream it into a private group in Facebook. Ooh. So we have people who watch it live on Zoom and can ask questions in the chat, but it also goes in the Facebook group. It's not a secret group, but it's a closed group. And so we also have an audience there, and it's really nice. And then, of course, we have the recorded version that we use in our courses. So I use it all the time. It's super user-friendly. It's easy. You can screen share. You can record all kinds of stuff. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Joanne Kroll says she loves the audio and video option. She records her class content with it, too.
So, and Zoom is a fantastic tool. I mean, from a cost standpoint, you've got a free plan that they're offering. The free plan, that gives you 40 minutes of group limits on group meetings, host up to 100 participants. What are some of the features you don't get, I guess, with the pro versus the free one, Nick?
It used to be that you didn't have that time limit on the free version, Christian. I just saw that when I re-upped to the pro version the other day. And I'm not sure that you have any recording capabilities on the free version. Not that I recall, or unless that changed too. But it used to be a 15-person limit for the free version, but the time wasn't limited to 40 minutes, I recall. But for $15 a month, you really can't go wrong with the pro version, unless you're doing webinars. If you're doing webinars, you have to add the webinar upgrade.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like, you have to look at as an investment in your business.
Right.
So if you're going to do a lot of, if you want to get into, for instance, doing a lot of recordings, then it's something that you want to have. But, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna do this as one-off stuff, then what I want to do is I want to then, maybe do the free version, for certain things.
Right.
But that's the tool, $15 a month.
Yep.
Not a big deal. So the next tool we have for the week is called Smarp, SMARP. And this is basically, it's a way to build an internal content hub for your company, for your business, to help engage your employees and kind of get them to take some action. So what do y'all think about this one? Have y'all had a chance to check this one out?
I had not checked it out. I looked at it today for the first time, and it's something that I see people ask me all the time. How do I get employees on board with my social media stuff? How can I get them to share? Can I force them to share? There's all these other questions that go with it, but this is a nice way to offer it. I guess nobody, no employer should make anybody share a blog post on their private Twitter account or, come up with content. Right. But if you have a sales team and a marketing team and you have, all these different team, even people in the finance, they're doing, somebody who's working in the warehouse, if you have them together and you have them on the system and they can upload pictures, maybe get rewarded for creating content, sharing that, have other people share the content, give kudos behind the scenes. I see this as like a really positive tool. It's something that I am definitely going to bookmark and I'm going to recommend this to people. I have no idea how much it costs, or I didn't look at any of that, but it's something that people ask for all the time. How can I get my team to get more excited about it and, about social media, and how can I teach them more? So this seems to be like a good thing for the market.
Definitely. Yeah. I will echo the same, comments that you're saying, Dorian, with like having people reach out saying, how do I get my employees to take action? And what most companies do, and I can speak from experience here, what they do is they send out, what they call an email blast, AKA a newsletter. They want all their employees signed up on that newsletter. They want you to follow their social media channels. And then they also want you to do your day job. And for some people that are not, are not social media savvy, or, they just don't have the time because they have a demanding job, that can be very difficult. So this actually gives you a nice little content hub to be able to have it where all the information you want your employees to share is easily, or it's readily available to them. You have to remember, as Dorian mentioned as well, you can't force your employees to share the content. Typically, if you've got an employee, you want to hire people that are passionate about your company, that, that share that same energy and enthusiasm, and they're not just there collecting a paycheck. So you want somebody in your company that's going to, really like just say, hey, you know what? Thanks a lot. I really believe in what we're doing, our mission, and they're going to want to share that content. And this just makes it a lot easier, I think.
Well, and this is a good way to make your employees like your brand ambassadors, to give them an incentive, especially if there's, I don't know if that piece, I didn't go look at it, but if there's an incentive piece where, hey, you upload, 5 pictures that we use, maybe, you get a reward or something, that would make sense to me. But, give them a piece of that ownership. I told you earlier that I talked at Inbound, and I talked about retention marketer and the customer journey. Retention marketing, I'll just say this real quick, is not about having a happy customer. It's preventing a customer from leaving. So if you have a happy customer, you then have to make them a satisfied customer, a loyal customer, you have to get them through that funnel until you give them that piece of ownership. Well, the same is true for employees. If you want to retain employees, you have to give them that ownership, and you can do that by building up, having first they're happy, then they're satisfied in their job, but then they become loyal. And, you want to get them through those stages. And this seems to be an amazing tool to get them there, because once they're loyal, they're going to have that, be proud of the company, and then they're going to want to share. So I think this is really, really good.
Very good.
I think that, I was going to say, Nick, like, what do you think about this? Because I think that, Dorian, I think that's a great, point you just made about kind of moving your employee in a way through the funnel as well, the employee to get your brand advocate, who's passionate about your company. Once it catches, you don't have to do anything in most cases. Put the content out there, and they're like, hey, you know what? They want to share it because they believe in what you're doing.
Right.
What do you think? Real quick about
I like it. I think that, it's been a problem that I've had even at our small company, was getting people who are comfortable taking pictures in the office and doing stuff in the office and sharing it publicly. And, people are really, really self-conscious about it, and they don't realize how few people probably see it in the end. So, it's one of those things, that I think if anything that can help employees get engaged and help share and create content, I think it's a great idea.
And, I can speak to that as well. Like, employees are a bit fearful sometimes to share content. in my past work with some of the really big companies I worked for, what they would do is they had a policy at one point where employees didn't share things because, they didn't want that out in the public. And then social came along, and now it's like, well, hey, how do we basically get people that have been here a long time who have that, policy ingrained of I shouldn't be sharing anything.
Audio.
Oh,
there you are. You're back.
They want to, they want you to share, but then they've had policies where it's hard to, they make it hard to share things. So, it does make it more difficult for you as a company to kind of turn those people back into, being active on social. But, just keep that in mind, as Dorian mentioned as well, and you have to have incentives for your employees. Don't just make them share stuff. You have to get them to really buy into what the company does, the mission.
That's for sure.
So, but price wise, I think I calculated this to about $12 a month per user. Again, this is not necessarily, by the way, welcome Jessica Phillips. Thanks for joining us as well. $12 a month per user. This is for a big corporation in most cases. But if I'm a small business, if I don't have necessarily the time to, set up all those email systems and send things out, I could easily just have a couple of users or make this available to them. I think there's a lot of value, because you have to remember, the more people talk about your company, the more that, you're going to have some ROI on what you're doing there.
That's
right. It's going to help get your name in the marketplace. So that's going to do it for this week's show. Dorian, I want to just thank you for, I know you've got a lot going on right now. So I want to thank you very much for spending part of your evening with us. That means a lot definitely to me, and Nick and Phil. So thanks so much. But where's the best place for people to find you?
You're welcome.
Yeah, where do people find you, Dorian?
And I think my Wi-Fi is kind of falling out again. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm most active on Facebook right now because I do a lot of community management. So my first and last name, Doreen Morin-van. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to start picking Twitter up a little bit more. I think I've been going to so many conferences and LinkedIn. I'm actually pretty active on LinkedIn. So feel free to, connect with me there as well.
Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you all.
Thank you for joining
tonight, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
See you next week.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.